Hey, everybody. This is Kara Crossway-Brindle, co-founder of the Empowerment Model of Clinical Supervision. Welcome to another video in our Stellar Supervision series. I have another amazing professional with us today, Morgan, who's going to introduce herself. And we're going to talk about group supervision, which a lot of you are interested in trying to facilitate. So Morgan, thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, tell people who you are and what you do, because I know that's where we like to start.
Right, exactly. Yes, understood. So I am currently working in private practice. I started my practice in 2020 after working in community mental health as well as integrated primary care. And I primarily focus my work right now on working with high achieving professionals aged 25 to 45 who are experiencing issues related to feeling disconnected to their values and their identity due to working in toxic work environments. So that's kind of where my focus is right now. I use a trauma-informed and social justice informed lens while working with folks, and also do EMDR. And then part of my practice is also offering supervision to folks who are pre-licensed in the state of Colorado.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted you on here, because I think some of the things you've just shared actually are translating over to your group supervision opportunities that you offer. I know you do both individual and group. So why is supervision part of your repertoire? Why is that important to you?
I really felt that I had some pretty good supervisors when I was, seeking my clinical licensure. I always felt that there perhaps could be some improvements. And so actually reading your book, Kara, and connecting with you, just full disclosure, Kara has provided me with a lot of, a lot of supervision of supervisor, which has been a really eye-opening and incredible learning experience for me. So the reason I decided to do that was because I felt like there was something missing and that I wanted to feel maybe more empowered in terms of my own knowledge and my own experiences as a clinician. And I didn't know exactly how to articulate that when I was new in the field. And so I'm hopeful that the work that I'm doing now is providing that outlet for folks to feel truly empowered to utilize their gifts that they already have. And then, having that transfer in the clinical space. So I'm
Absolutely.
hopeful that the space that I allow, provides that, provides that opportunity.
Yeah. So let's talk logistics, because I know a lot of people do individual supervision where that rapport and that trust is really built a lot quicker, I think, for a lot of us, because it's one-on-one. So I feel like the bigger challenge here is when you have a group of people or multiple supervisees. What are some of the things that other supervisors who watch this video could consider when building a group supervision?
I think that part of what helped me was to have a really strong structure of group, that it wasn't simply case consultation and then see you later type of group, that it really felt like a warm and inviting environment for everybody who was going to participate. So really having some grounding in terms of doing actual activities that include grounding, talking a lot about the therapist self, and then also having kind of like essentially a golden thread going through group supervision. So when I say that, when I talk about structure, I'm meaning that I would send out an agenda about a week before the actual group, and have a particular theme of the week, which was usually pre-discussed in another group supervision, so that we're all on the same page in terms of what we're wanting to talk about.
Right.
So setting up, maybe videos or a speaker or some handouts or something that feels inspirational, but not like overly demanding. I'm talking about 10 minutes of extra work. So helping them to prepare for the upcoming group by sending that agenda. Also on the agenda is a grounding exercise that I would facilitate or have one of the supervisees facilitate. I do a lot of somatic work. So that's part of what I wanted to do in group. The other part of the supervision is, yes, continuing to still do the case presentation, but also incorporating the grounding in using what's called the Hayes addressing model. So incorporating components of truly understanding clients in a systemic lens, but also using and understanding aspects such as age, disability, religion, ethnicity, social status, indigenous heritage, gender. That's what addressing stands for. I think I might have missed one, but I think I missed religion in there. But anyway, it's also like it kind of falls in line with my social justice lens anyway. So I wanted that to also be part of how we present cases and how we conceptualize, so that it's really respectful but also inclusive. of different identities and different components that may be compounding or maybe impacting a specific client. So after doing a case presentation and assigning that obviously prior to the group meeting, we also do kind of a checkout. So we take one word that encapsulates something that we learned in that group for the day, so so that there's like a synthesis of the things that we're talking about. It's not just, okay, well, great presentation, here's some suggestions and we'll see you later. Yeah. It's really trying to solidify that there's some certain themes, and hoping that those themes resonate for the people that are participating.
Absolutely. I love this structure. And I think a lot of people can take that and run with it just based on how you've outlined here a couple of things to consider. Mm-hmm. Do you see, are you seeing success stories with your supervisees? Like, how do you think it's working for them to have this kind of structure?
I think that it's worked really well. The other piece that I forgot to mention that we do is we do a check-in, so temperature check. So there's the check-in and check-out. But I think that it's worked really well. Now that I'm looking back on some of the different themes that they've chosen, I think the themes have really built on each other. So each week, each month when we meet, I say, well, what would you like to talk about next time? And each time I feel like it's been building on each other. So the first group that we had was establishing norms and establishing safety as a group. And then as we've moved through it, we've talked more about cultural humility and identity, talked about compassion fatigue, talked about gratitude and future career-related goals. And now we're really into niche development and inviting speakers and really understanding like self, the therapist's self and the joy that we can really derive from this profession. So I think that, part of that success has been the collaborative spirit, right, of asking them what they want to speak, what they want to learn about.
Right.
And then, and just having that opportunity to be able to do that, I think has been really powerful.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's sparking a memory of a conversation you and I had through the Soup of Soup that we mm-hmm. both participate in the sense of don't work harder than your supervisees, right? Mm-hmm. So I love that you're asking them to participate and to have a voice in what are the topics, what kind of guest mm-hmm. speakers should I be recruiting? Mm-hmm. What do we want to do next? So there's buy-in. I mean, this is their time, usually a group supervision is 3 or more people. And so having kind of that empowered delegation, I guess is the way I'd put it, of like, mm-hmm. I want you to do a case presentation, or you pick the topic, or can we come together and agree? I think that actually makes group supervision that much more powerful and special because it's not you as the supervisor doing all the work. And I think people make that assumption of like, oh, now I'm not just doing one-on-one, now I'm doing a bunch of things for like 3+ people. And that feels daunting when really your structure makes it much more even keel from what you're saying.
Right. And there's a delegation of the different things, right? It's not just one person running the entire show for sure.
Yeah. So everyone's participating.
Yeah.
So is there other things that you want supervisors or even supervisees who might be watching this video? Are there things you want them to consider beyond the structure, other tips or tricks that you want them to consider?
I mean, I think that just really being open to having some flexibility in terms of group soup, right? That it doesn't have to follow what I've decided. It really can be the voice of the people that are in the group, right? Mm-hmm. Just that can be your structure. I mean, the reason honestly that the structure was identified was because of the feedback that I got from my supervisees, as well as doing survey monkeys and just asking for more feedback anonymously. So really just understanding that any group can be in your vision. It doesn't have to be what you had in grad school or what you had in your, in your field placement. It can be really, what you want it to be. But that I think the one key piece is truly staying grounded in the empowerment aspect mm-hmm. of it, regardless of the shape that it takes, just having that continued collaborative spirit.
Mm-hmm. So a question that was not something I had you prep for, but I'm going to throw at you anyway, just because I think it's important, is how do you make sure, this is a loaded question too, how do you make sure that your group soup participants are cohesive, like that they'll work well together? Is there something you look for, or is it more about building in this connection through the group soup itself?
I mean, I think that starts with the initial consultation of taking on a new supervisee is really vetting mm-hmm. and understanding and knowing that each supervisee for me as a supervisor will be a good fit for my clinical skills, for my, for my experiences, and that they feel the same way. Right. So I guess that, that does come from, prior to starting the group, is just kind of ensuring that they're a fit with me. And then once we have the group, then it's, it seems that it's been pretty, pretty successful in terms of the cohesion. because there's similar
Perfect.
interests, there's similar, similar types of perspectives, but then there's also some divergent views and some divergent experiences that I think we've been able to really build on and understand and honor for each other. So I hope that
Nice.
answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know this is, a lot of information and people are going to probably have some questions for you because your supervision has obviously been very successful and you're getting good feedback from your supervisees. So where do people find you if they have more questions for you?
Yes, they can look me up on my website. It's Vida, VIDA dash idilica, IDILICA.com. It means idyllic life in Spanish. And you can also call me at 720-515-5377.
Perfect. And I'll make sure to include your website below the video here so folks can
Okay.
jump right in there and ask questions. I imagine not only will they ask questions about how to do group supervision, you might actually have people who want to work with you as a supervisor based on the style that you presented. So,
That would be
Morgan,
great.
thank you
Yes.
for being such a wealth of knowledge on group soup. I know that, as you named, it can be a whole different package and people can customize it the way they want to, but
Yes.
it sounds like you have some really good strategies for this.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Take care.
Absolutely. Viewers, stay tuned for more videos in the Stellar Supervision series. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.